This is the dental work. They had 2 dentists that we took and 2 dental hygienists. One did just extractions of teeth and the other one did restorative work. So basically, when the people came, they could decide what they wanted to see. So they could see the medical group, they could see us, they could get eyeglasses, or they could see the dentist. So they get different colored papers so we all knew who was going where. And if we had time, some people might be able to get a tooth pulled and have eyeglasses too. But, we just had to be careful on the time and make sure everybody got at least something that they really needed. This I thought was really interesting. The people, of course, are very resourceful because they have to be. It was really, really hot, especially, toward the afternoon. So some Bolivians decided it'd be great to set up a tarp. So one of the older gentlemen, Bolivian people, just started digging a hole, and somebody found a stick. And we tied the tarp to a couple of the missionaries' vans. And as you can see in the very top, I just thought it was so cool. Somebody took off their boot, a rubber boot, and he put on top of the stick so that it wouldn't poke through the tarp. I just thought that was amazing. And it was right outside my window. It was right outside where I was all day, so I just thought that was the coolest thing. You can see this lady is kind of dressed with a hat and an apron and lace shirt. These are Quechua people. And it's just a kind of an Indian group that's in Bolivia, and they all dress basically, they might have a little different colors, but they all dress pretty much the same. So like I said, the people could choose if they went to the medical, to get eyeglasses, or to the dentist. Once the people saw whoever they could see, actually the dental, they did this before, but everyone before they left any of the clinics, they met with one of the evangelists that we took with us. There were 4 that we took, 4 different groups, and they all had translators. And so we did not let anyone leave until they talked with one of the evangelists. So basically what they did was they used a Evangicute. I don't know if any of you are familiar with that. I was not. As you can see kind of in this picture, kind of yellowish, whitish, cute thing. I thought it was like this little tiny thing. I didn't even know it was going to be that big. But anyway, they just shared the plan of salvation with every single person who came to the clinic, so we did not let them leave. There was, we had a lot of people that, help people go where they're supposed to, but nobody left without seeing the evangelist. This is an 84-year-old lady who was accepting Christ for the first time. She was at my station. She could barely walk. We basically carried her into the clinic, and so she was actually still at our medical station, so I got to actually be there when she accepted Christ. It was the coolest thing. This is the clinic on day 4. On day 4, our last day, we had the clinic right at the church, right at the camp where we were staying. So this is like when I woke up. This is like 6:30 in the morning. That's all the people that are already there. So it was just amazing. They said we didn't want the clinic at the camp. They would have had it the first day probably, but they didn't want it at the camp because they didn't want people to keep coming to us all week thinking that we had it open all week. So we waited till last day. There's one of the Quechua people dressed a little bit differently, but still very similar. So on one of the days after the clinic, one of the missionaries is like, "Hey, who wants to go on a walk in the town?" And I was like, "Hey, I'll go. I'll do it. I want to see Bolivia." So I had no idea really where we were going, but she took us to this beautiful stream in the middle of the mountains, and it's where they actually, a couple of the churches do baptisms, and it was just absolutely beautiful to see. Those are some of the people that went. It's not very, half the group went. Some people are like, "I don't want to go on a walk. It's hot, Just another beautiful view. This is actually, on our last day, we actually got to go to some of the Inca ruins. So this is actually kind of hiking through you can kind of see, we couldn't get really close, we didn't have a lot of time, so we couldn't go all the way there, but you can kind of see some of it. Just an absolutely beautiful view. There's some more straight ahead. Again, we couldn't get close because we had to get to the airport. So when we finally got back to the Santa Cruz, the city where we flew in and out of, they took us to KFC. We were allowed to eat at KFC for our last night, which was really exciting. And as you can see, it's like a phenomenal KFC. We were blown away. Nobody, even these people from Florida, wherever, they're like, we have never seen a KFC live. So it's really, really awesome. It's there's it's 2 stories of tables even to eat at. So it was phenomenal. It was really so I just want to kind of just tell you kind of statistics, last what we kind of saw as far as the clinics. We were able to see over 700 people receive medical care. So it's hard to tell because some people would come with their family and they wouldn't necessarily fill out paper, and we tried to get everybody to fill out paper, but it was kind of hard. And we gave every single person vitamins when they came to the medical care, and we gave every single person medicine for parasites, because they obviously have a very big problem with parasites. So we would actually give, like if it was like a mother who came in with like one child or something, because the one child was sick and she had like 3 other kids at home, we would give, and the child was the only one we had seen, we would give her vitamins, we would give our other 3 kids vitamins and warm medicine. So we actually reached like way more than the 700, but that's like around how many we have actually documented. And then 346 received reading lessons and 118 received dental work. The dental work, obviously, as you all know, was a little bit slow. It takes longer. You know, we could see like somebody for medical care, like 5 minutes. It would take them like 30, you know, like a minute, like 30 minutes. So they could have seen more people that had more time, but it just, with only 2 of them, it just wasn't possible. So the really, really, really exciting is that 339 people accepted Christ at our clinics, which is really, really awesome. It was just so exciting every day to hear how many people had accepted Christ at that clinic. A couple of the churches we went to, a lot of the people that came were already going to the church, so they've obviously already made a commitment, and a lot of people recommitted their life to Christ, but these are the 339 people are for the very first time heard the gospel and accepted Christ at the clinic. So I just thought that was amazing to be part of. And now we just, we really need to pray for these people, because there's 339 people that just, started their life with Christ, but they need to, be nurtured and they need to grow. If people did receive Christ for the first time, they received the Gospel of John in Spanish. So these people can all start reading John. I thought about, Dan last night where he, did the Bibles for, 10,000 Bibles, but these are like, 339 Gospels of John, but that can still go, multiply more than 339 people. And before the people left the clinics, after they met with the evangelists, every pastor at the different churches, they all have native pastors, the missionaries are just kind of overseeing, the church planting, but then they, kind of move away in a bit and start another church. But all the pastors would meet one-on-one with the people before they left, just for a few minutes, just to kind of introduce themselves, let them know when the church services were, let them know that they are here and available. He would, depends on the pastor, but a lot of them would get their addresses, about where they live, see if there's anything the church could do. So these missionaries were just, really, really blessed by us, kind of doing part of their work, because these people are just so spread out and it's so hard for them. There's like, this one couple had 2 of the churches, and for the 2 of them to like go to every house, around would be like, what they said would take them like 10 years to like reach all the people that we reached in like a 7-8 hour day. So that was just really, really cool. So I just, obviously I'm just really excited that I had this opportunity. I'm just really thankful that I, was able to answer God's call and to go to Bolivia and to just serve the people with this. We had just a phenomenal team. We just all worked together, and just we are all there for the same purpose, to share the gospel with all these, lost and hurting people. So I just really appreciate all of your support and all of your, care. And especially, I'll just kind of mention our last day trying to get out of Bolivia, as many of you might have been here in church 2 weeks ago when you were praying for us to come home. So it took us about 56 hours to get home, which was not fun. So we got to the airport, we were taking like a red-eye flight home, and we got to the airport and we're just waiting at the gate, and waiting at the gate, and they keep saying like 15 more minutes, and we keep waiting. And it's like going on midnight and we're like still waiting, and we're like, okay, just waiting. We're all really tired, and we're just waiting. So finally, someone came and told us that our flight had been canceled, and we were like, great. Like now, like we're in this country, it's midnight, and we're at the gate in the airport. So anyways, to make a long story short, we went back downstairs to, the ticket counter or whatever, and then we had to collect all of our bags, like we had to go through customs again, get all of our bags, go back through all the, loops and everything. And so all the men started waiting, at the ticket counter with all our bags to get in this huge long line, because there was like 300-400 people on the plane. It's a huge plane, waiting in line to figure out what we're gonna do. When are we gonna get, the plane out of here? So the women kind of went over. We were really tired. We just went over. We just started praying because we had like no idea what to do. Or like we're just stuck here. Like, are we staying at the airport? When are we getting home? Like there's no. They had like no plan. They didn't even tell us like, oh, there's another plane. Like there's no planes going out to the U.S. like anytime soon. So we're just like we just sit there and we just start praying. People are crying because they're so upset. It's like we're just praying. Like there's nothing else we can do. So we waited probably 2.5 hours in line, and they finally told us that we could leave around noon the next day. So we're like, okay, well no, like we're in the airport. We don't know any Spanish. We don't know anything. But anyway, they put us up in a hotel, and it was an experience. The next day, we got to the airport. But for the 4 ladies and I who were traveling together, we still had no idea how we were getting from Florida to New York because we had missed our flight. So we had like no idea. And we're in the middle of Bolivia. We're like, okay, what do we do? So my one friend, she starts, calling. We're like, okay, we'll start calling. We're on the phone for like 2.5 hours trying to get our flight home to New York. We're like, whatever it takes. So she, after a little bit, she's like, I can't take this anymore. So she just handed the phone to me. So I'm on the phone for like probably 2.5 hours. But they're all just like around me, they're just praying. Like, because I don't know, the 4 of us, we had the hardest time getting our flight. Everybody else got their connecting flight. But the 4 of us, we just, like, whatever we did, we just couldn't get it. So they're just like standing around me, like everybody's just standing around me praying. Like, we have to get home, So it was just really awesome. So finally, like after person, like thing after thing, they finally got us all 4 on the same flight, which was like a miracle because to get less than 24 hours 4 people on a flight is like, on 2 flights actually, it's probably about impossible. So that was just, that was really awesome. It was just really cool because it was like Saturday night, we were waiting in the airport, we're all so tired. I'm just like sitting there like, this is my last chance with my group. And like, I really should be talking to them. But like, I was just so tired. I'm like, I don't want to leave them, but I want to talk to them because I'm so tired, And it was just like, so cool because we got to like spend another like almost 24 hours together. Totally unexpected. Like, it was just amazing. So we just got to, we thought we had learned a lot, we thought we had bonded a lot in the whole week, but we really, bonded in the last 24 hours. So that was really cool. I don't think I've ever trusted God so much as getting home that day. Because it's like, we had no food, we couldn't drink the water, we couldn't drink the food, we didn't know the language, we had like nothing. We're like, it's all him because we are just these people in this country who have nothing. So it was just a really cool last day. Even though it's a little frustrating. So does anybody have any questions about anything that I covered or anything I didn't cover?
So you guys were there then. Is there follow-up or do other groups go in the meantime? Ongoing?
Not necessarily. There was one other medical group that went, I want to say like a couple years ago, I can't remember exactly, but it was in the last few years, but they didn't go to these mountain people. And there's a plan for another group to go, I think the end of February. One of the universities in Florida takes their medical students, but they're not going to the same place that we are. I mean, they don't want to go to the same place anyway because we were just there. And it's hard to say if anybody will ever go into the mountains again. They're going to Bolivia, but they stay more in the city. Like they stay at the missionary's house in Santa Cruz, and nobody really likes to venture away from the city. So it's hard to say. I guess that's why we need to pray more for these missionaries and work for the people because we touch these 1,000+ people and all their families, and now the missionaries have a huge, not burden because it's not like a burden, but they have all these people that they need to nurture and grow, and they're like more inspired to do it, but so it's hard to say if anybody will ever go back there besides the missionaries who were there.